Welcome back to Classic and Retro. So this morning's video, as you can probably tell, is something completely different. We're still waiting on parts for the carburetors for the Mark 1 and the rear axle, so we can't really do too much more on that, but we have got a fair few projects knocking around. So today we're going to be concentrating on my wife's car, which is this 1990 Mark 3 Toyota Supra, and it's a 7M GE. It's not the turbo. It's my wife's dream car pretty much, but it does need a fair bit of work. We've started on it. You're joining us kind of about a third away through the project. We've already stripped the engine, as people are familiar with these cars will know that they suffer with head gasket problems. So we've already stripped the engine, had the head skimmed, and we're part way through putting the engine back together. We'll show you more of that. We've got all new suspension for it, new coilovers, new brakes, new handbrake shoes, new brake hoses, everything. It's already fitted with a set of Ray's Engineering wheels from a 350Z. And yeah, it's quite a good car, to be honest. It just needs a bit of recommissioning. So what we'll be doing today is rebuilding the rear suspension on the driver's side, getting the diff oil changed, getting the coilover fitted, getting the under arch sealed and getting it back down on its wheels. We have got a deadline for this one. We're hoping to get this one done for the end of May. We've got a car show in mind that we'd like to take this to, so it does need doing. So there'll be regular updates on this one as well. Today's job is this back end, so let's crack on. So the first job is to clean this arch up. We want to get all the dust, all the dirt out of here, rotary wire brush all that, and then reseal it. We've also got a coilover shock to go in there. Well, this is a coilover shock. We've got an adjustable coilover to go in. So for people not familiar, it's basically threaded with a smaller diameter spring, so you can adjust the height of the vehicle. It's mainly used for like corner weight in race cars, so you can get it exactly right, but you can alter the ride height as well. And so we've got some of those to go on. We've got new braided hoses. We've got all new brakes to go on. So yeah, a fair bit to do in this one corner, but we should be able to make some good progress today. That's the worst off. Now we're not taking it all the way back to metal, there's no real need. We just want to get the worst of the dirt off so we can get it resealed. And again, the same with the brakes. We've taken the worst off. They were pretty clean in there. We'll give them a lick of paint. So next job, give everything a lick of paint, get this shock absorber and spring removed, and then we can get on to rebuilding the brakes. There we go, everything's sealed and looking good. Next job is suspension components, so we'll get those done now.
copy?
No. So right, as you can see, we've now painted the suspension, sealed it all up with, it's an enamel paint, like a chassis paint, so it's pretty good, it's pretty hard wearing. There's obviously bits we can't get to. For now it's about getting to the bits we can, sorting out the bits we can. Obviously we work our way around corner by corner, then underneath. But I'm sure you'll agree it's already starting to look a lot better. We're going to clean the wishbone up, clean the anti-roll bar drop link up, and then we'll get on to changing the shock absorber and spring and rebuilding the brakes. So that's everything cleaned up and ready to be assembled. We've got a pile of new parts. However, we've just found out that we don't have any handbrake shoes. So we're not going to be able to get this side fully done today. What we are going to get done is get the standard Springer shock changed for the coilover, which is there. So we'll get that put on. To do that, you have to strip some internal trim away. We thought we were going to have to take the whole boot trim out, so we'll start doing that. But luckily, at the top here, there's like one screw behind the speaker cover. Take that off and you can get access to the 3 12mm bolts that hold the top of the shock absorber in place. Take them off, the bottom bolt's already out, and you can remove your shock absorber. So we'll get that done on this side, get the diff oil done, and then we'll probably get the wheel put back on and get it down on its wheels, because we've got, I believe, 2 new projects arriving tomorrow and we need the space. So this car's got to move a little bit just so we can get those done. So we'll get that done now. Being careful not to drop these down the back of the trim, otherwise we will have to take this whole trim out, and I don't really want to do that. That's those 3 out. And so now, if we come around this side, we can take that out. What we're going to do is give this a bit of a clean before we put it in. We don't want to put it in looking like this, especially when we've cleaned everything else up. So we'll get that done and then we'll get it put in.
Hiya.
How you doing? You alright?
Come on.
These are actually adjustable from the top for stiffness as well. So you can adjust ride height and rebound and everything on these, damping, so they're quite a good thing. So now it's a matter of just locating it, getting the nuts on a couple of threads and then tightening them all up evenly. We will check the torque setting on these at some point. I'm sure there's a torque for them, but for now we'll just get them on. As Haynes likes to say, someone's obviously had these on a car that's been very low. You see the difference that's going to make. So that's probably going to be 2 or 3 inch lower on this side than it was. So what we're going to have to do is jack this corner up until we can get the bolt in there, and then we'll get bolted in. We can adjust these at a later date, but for now we just want to get it rolling. And there we have it, one fitted coilover. Looks pretty cool. So that is about as far as we can get with this side today. So the next job we're going to do, I would put the new disc on. We have got the new disc, we've got new braided brake lines from Goodrich. I would fit those, but I don't want them to be open to the elements. So for now, we'll leave it at this. We'll get the wheel back on, we'll get it back down on its wheels, and that'll be it for this video, I think. So a bit of a shorter one than normal. It would have been a little bit longer, but we did think we'd got handbrake shoes. So this car's going to, as I said earlier on in the introduction, it's going to have a lot of work in the coming weeks. We've got a deadline for it. I think it's the end of May. This car's got to be not 100% done, because they never really are, but it's got to be done enough to get us to the show that we want to go in. There is a fair bit to do, but it's going to be an interesting project. It's Mel's dream car, so we want it done right, we want to be able to enjoy it this summer. So we've got another 2 projects coming up, a couple of interesting cars, nothing the same as this, they're very out there, both of them, quite contrasting cars. Those videos should be live in the next week or so, I would have thought. So if you want to see more stuff like this, then click subscribe, click like, drop a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.